in yellow we've got Qzipco, and in black we've got Admiral Iowasaka. I believe that's AdmiralGeneral. These two famous for their cheese strats in their 2v2s that they do, spawning on opposite sides of Forge as you would expect. As far as I can see, there's no metal spots that have been left out due to replay bugs. Qzipco, spawning South Pole, bots first, double mechs, double power. That's an interesting opening that you don't tend to see very often with a commander there, although I suppose he's spawned him in a position where he can get them all up very, very quickly indeed. Typically you do see bots first on Forge, as Admiral is also doing the same up in the north spawn in Gunmetal Grey here. Going mechs, double power, maybe a triple before the air factory, possibly the air factory before the third. We'll have to see, but either way, relatively typical spawns and openings here from these players. Going by what Qzipco's doing, maybe he's going to get out an additional fabricator. So it'll either be 3 or 4 perhaps. It depends on whether he wants to go rush. He got a docks. Possibly might decide to fabber up afterwards, but no, he's going for full bot rush and or bot protection of this 4, because obviously when people tend to rush they go for those 4 mechs. It's very vulnerable earlier on. If you're just trying to set up shop there with a few fabricators, they're quite open to being sniped. Good position of the docks here from Qzipco, going out the front where any approaching docks will be coming from, and setting a docks here. People tend to forget about this side actually, which is really good to see him and get a demonstration of, you know, actually seeing all of these different approaches. Because Qzipco now though, he's already got 2 Admirals 4, got some good scouting, seeing that Admiral's not playing for them right now. He must be thinking, okay, so you're going to sit in your base, I wonder what you're up to. 2 combat fabs. Very, very curious play from Admiral here. Are we going to see some cheese? I'm confused as to what may be going on. Yeah, there's the 3rd fab, look. Got a 3rd fab out, and a combat fab as well. This is an interesting strat, reclaiming the commander to keep your metal up. I mean, I don't think he needs it right now necessarily, but he's focusing down building stuff with his fabricators. But that's an ingenious way to keep your metal up. I mean, let's have a look at Admiral. He's got, by the look of it, 1 combat fabber doing the reclaim there. 2 combat fabs doing the reclaim. Hence why he's rushing up T2. Wow, this is an interesting strategy right here. This is, I'm not sure I would call this cheese just yet. We'll have to see what they do with it. But it's certainly, well, it's risky play, I tell you that much, and for a number of reasons. One, he's relinquishing map control to Qzipco right now. Qzipco establishing a few turrets all over the place with his fabricators. He's going to be able to push up and maybe pop up a couple of factories here, there, and everywhere. Got an idle fabber over here, could be pushing out to these mechs or assisting with this factory. Meanwhile, Qzipco, of course, at the same time, thinking, maybe I should get some factories of my own, and I think his commander's going to go and do that with the bots. So we're going to see a large number of bot play from Qzipco. He's also got some airplay going on, but the T2 bots is already half complete, and Qzipco doesn't know about this. He's about to, though. He's about to see it, and he's about to think, you what? Are you combat fab reclaiming commander harder than me? Well, he hasn't seen it yet. That's the important thing. Yeah, this is unusual. I haven't seen this done before. He's gonna want to stop reclaiming his commander after a while because, yeah, you don't want it to fall too low. I mean, it's at 89% right now. That's okay, especially on Forge, because typically if your commander's taking a lot of damage on Forge, you're about to die anyway. But with these 2 players, you know, they know how to keep their commanders safe, so I'm not going to doubt them right now. Qzipco's struggling a bit with power. It's probably the combat fabs doing all sorts of reclaiming and shenanigans. He needs to get up a few more P-gens. Did Qzipco scout the T2 there? No, he didn't. He did see that Admiral is beginning to play out here, though. At the same time, Admiral is going to need a few more P-gens from this T2 fabricator, but of course T2 P-gens are completely viable if you can get them up. They give you a shed load of power and will allow you to build a lot of T1 factories. Similarly with having that sort of a metal income. I mean, Qzipco is firing away on all cylinders here with the metal income. He's just expanding out of control right now, and Admiral really needs to get on this. He's got his slammers out. He wants to maybe keep them for the big reveal. Has Qzipco seen it? No, he's seen the T2 going up, so he's going to think, you what? Okay, well you got T2, I need to start T2. Maybe he's not going to. Maybe he's just going to go and try and outproduce on T1, but his commander is getting quite low now, actually, for this stage of the game, as a result of this reclaiming. 78%, 79, 78%. Got some good defense around the place, though, so maybe he's feeling a little safe because of his established map control. He doesn't want to get too cocky, though. And he's now seen the placement of the factory. He'll have seen the slammers, and he'll know that that's what he needs to go and deal with, and as a result we'll probably see a transition into bombers and or heavier vehicles. Indeed, we've got a couple of vehicle factories ready to be produced. His commander is getting very, very low though, 73. You know, these slammers can finish that commander very, very quickly. He's going to need to be careful how he plays the rest of this. Well, both of these players are, because... What? Look at this health! 65%! What is this? This is highly unusual, but the bomber's coming out, and Admiral has nothing to defend these slammers from the bombers. Just going to go and check the satellite metal, I suppose, here, and seeing that there's no expansion there, they'll be called to the front line to deal with these slammers, no doubt. Back you come, bomber. There be slammers there. Oh, mines. Very good decision. Very, very good decision indeed to put up those mines. We'll stave off the slammers for the time being, but the more there are on the field, the harder it's going to become to deal with. Bombers are going to be needed. Slammers can easily take down this entire docks force here. Fair impunity. They've got the range, they've got the DPS, absolutely destroying that. What they need, though, is the combat fab to come up and scout the mines. And the air game is in from General. He's going to be able to defend his slammers now. What he needs... Oh, nice. What he needs to do is press his advantages. He's going around the side here, raiding all this metal, which is good to see. He's managing to level Qzipco's metal right now. He's going down to 63%. What is this? A second T2 factory? Oh, no T2 power. Well, I suppose he doesn't need it necessarily at this point, but they're both down on very low health. Yeah. Surprising. I mean, all Admiral needs to do is continue to raid Qzipco, and then Qzipco's going to struggle with the upkeep. Admiral, though, struggling with metal a bit, but the T2 vehicles are ready. This could be the ideal answer for slammers. Indeed, it will be. Levelers will really zone out these slammers pretty nicely indeed, and will make a strong push. Getting that T2 up as well is quite going to be good. It'll be allowing to increase slammer production, maybe get some snipers. I don't know how one favours snipers against levelers, but we'll have to see. Maybe he's just going to up his slammer production. Maybe locusts? That's a possibility. Is it complete? Looks it. Yeah. Moving his commander out to the front on the side with a couple of levelers here. Not great. Admiral really needs to start getting his map control back. Bomber's laying on some slammers over there. Qzipco playing really well, though. Expanding at first, getting up his T2 in response to Admiral, playing the air game, answering the slammers with the levelers. Oh. Getting a good few pops off on those slammers, but looks like Admiral's got this response to the levelers okay. I mean, he does need some more boombots to be able to do stuff, but he needs to actually send them in. Well, there's a boombot inside that rock over there. That's going to be a bit tricky for where we go. Wonder whether he's going to see the commander moving out the front. There are slammers here on the front lines, though. Potentially dangerous. The mines are still there. A couple of shots going off on that commander. Is he being repaired or reclaimed? Repaired or reclaimed? Oh, he's being hit, though. Mines! The mines! Oh, it's got a few shots off there, though. 43. Ah, nicely defended there. The big thing is on this side, though. Admiral's commander caught out in the opening against 3 levelers. That's more than enough to kill this comm. And he's moving towards the levelers. You don't want to do that. No! What are you doing? Get back! Get back! Woo! 6%! 6%! That's a bomber snipe if ever there was one. That commander needs to get back and healed right this instant. He's got enough resources to be able to do that, but my goodness me, does he need to be careful. He needs to be very careful. Same with Qzipco, really. I mean, a few slammers and a skitter will be able to get through those mines in no time flat. Slammers, though, the ideal counter to this docks push, so Qzipco is not going to get through, even though he wants to here. Docks on this side, though. Not docks, sorry, the bots building the factory, that's what I meant to say. Interesting how the bomber decided to not finish off those fabricators. That would have been an ideal thing for them to do, because it stops them getting up the Galata, it stops them establishing that position. Qzipco expanding out now, he was pushed back a little bit earlier by Admiral. He was going for his 32. But it's good to see that he knows when to fall back, when to consolidate his position, when to do on the responsive rather than the aggressive. And as a result, he can be aggressive in his response. But this docks force, where are the slammer defense? They need to move. They've been grouped with the tanks. They're not moving fast. That commander needs to get out of dodge. He's gonna... Please don't push him with the boom bots. Please don't do that. Please don't push the commander with the boom bots. What could Admiral be planning right now? Because there are still mines there, and he knows there are still mines there. His base is about to get torn through by levelers. I mean, an interesting use of air fabs, by the way, from Qzipco. Just, you know, he may as well. He's got the resources to just pop stuff up in different locations. The mines! The mines! Oh! Oh! He's got a combat fab so he can see them! Down they go! All he needs to do is keep that combat fab alive. Does he have the air support? Yes, he does. Down go the mines. He can push in here. How are the levelers doing on that side? They got boom-botted. This could be the push. This could be the push that cements it. Levelers coming out. They're not getting focused down, so they're going to be able to answer this entire... Oh my goodness. There goes that entire force. You need to focus the levelers down. If you see levelers and you're going T2 bots, you just have to focus them down. Boom-bots coming in against tanks, though. Very nicely dealt with there. And this is what I meant about dealing with these bots, because they're just going to get the reclaim, the extra metal, they're going to consolidate this position, and it's going to be harder and harder for Admiral to deal with. He has got 3 T2 bot factories now. Can he support them all running? He's gone for Locusts. Oh, that could be interesting. He doesn't want to do that, considering these are levelers, although he's got nice pelter defenses there. In come the air, they're going to see the Locusts coming out. So... Qzipco is going to know that Locusts are the game changer here. He's got a turret here around the back, but it's not necessarily going to be enough against a good force of Locusts. There are already about 10, perhaps, on the field. 9 or 10. Probably 9. Around the back they come, though. Now he needs to switch back to slammers so that he actually has a viable defense. He really needs to switch back to slammers. Please, please, please. Oh. Micro Locusts. Oh. Nom nom nom. I'm gonna keep an eye on the pushes into the base and the picture-in-picture there, because that's gonna be the key bit. Nom nom nom. Levelers pushing out, still trying to get as far as they can. Pelters still trying to defend as much as they can. Docks around the back here are going to be the ideal defense to these Locusts. There aren't a huge amount, and they do fall relatively quickly when sent in against a good number of units like that. He needs to switch back to something that actually does a huge amount of damage, unless he's going to go around and just be an absolute nuisance and get rid of all the metal that Qzipco has managed to obtain, which is a good idea. It's a fair strategy, and it's valid. He's managed to do it all around the back there. He needs to take off this 4 here. He's expanding his own, so he's going to be able to get extra production. He needs to get the defense, though. He's finally switched back to slammers, which is good. Maybe he needs to shore up the defense over here. Maybe get some T2 defenses, maybe some pelters on this side as well, because these levelers are potentially very, very hazardous indeed. He has managed to repair his commander, which is good to see. So he's not in the danger zone any longer. Continued Locusts, not into the Infernos, please. But look at this expansion and base from Qzipco, and it's just going to be harder and harder to deal with, because Qzipco's still not stalling, he's still got the metal to support. AdmiralGeneral, though, just... What an interesting game on Forge. What an interesting game on Forge. Blue Hawk's coming out now as well. Those will do nice good hits against vehicles while kiting and shooting over bits of terrain. So that'll negate, you know, Leveler's need for line of sight. Pushing forward at this side though, kiting out the slammers. There are the combat fabs there though, so that negates the pelter to some degree. There are enough pelters though to counteract the combat fab. Combat fab did go down. Apologies for the cut. But we had some rather silly finicky internet shenanigans going on, which completely confused my OBS. Meanwhile, back to the game. I can't remember what we were talking about, but it looks as though Admiral is having a little bit of trouble keeping up with the supply of units for yellow right now. There's just so many of them. If you look in the army tab there, 14 factories giving 120 odd units, and there are no slammers left to deal with this. I think Blue Hawks perhaps was an unwise decision. Yeah, they do more damage on their initial shot, but they shoot slower, so while Blue Hawks may be better to deal with the odd leveler, they're not so great to deal with a steady supply of units like this as the base becomes gradually more and more exposed. So that's not great. He's starting to take some damage on his additional factories there. He's got 4 of them up in total, but it's not going to be enough. He needs a way of sniping Qzipco's commander, and Qzipco's commander is nicely entrenched, although there is an opening here. Thing is, he doesn't have any slammers or fast-moving units to actually be able to go and do that, and so at this point, I would probably relinquish the game, really. It's probably a bit GG here. The Blue Hawks aren't going to be able to defend against this as necessarily, and there's not going to be able to get the push out on Qzipco's comm in time. In fact, we can see they've all been rallied round the back, but the way the vehicles have been moved around to get rid of all of the eco here, certainly all the power, is really well controlled. Which isn't great. And Admiral goes down. Pop. Once again, between Qzipco and AdmiralGeneral, whichever you want to refer to it by. But yes, so in yellow this time we have AdmiralGeneral. Qzipco, meanwhile, is in the blue trunks, both going for bots first, as we can both clearly see on our multiple screens of epileptic shenanigans. Bots going into air second in both cases, which is pretty standard for clutch. Pretty standard for clutch. That's typically what you see. What we'll do is we'll have picture-in-picture sat around the back so we can see any raiding that's going on around here, any potential naval skirmishes or anything like that that goes up. So, it's clutch. I don't tend to see too many 1v1s on this one, simply because it's, you know, your generic 1v1 map. People are fed up with playing it all the time. But, triple fabs coming out from Qzipco. Meanwhile, Admiral going double fab and combat fab. Reclaim strats return. Getting the metal out. Look at that, 56 metal. It does give you a healthy boost, early on. And it's allowing him a triple fab. Let's see what Qzipco's doing with it. Is he getting out a combat fab? Yes, he is. Triple fab into combat fab. Staving off the reclaim for as long as possible. But interesting. Scouts coming out from the air factories, as one would imagine. Going to go and sit on the islands or just see what their opponent's build is. Because you do need to be aware of the island expansions on clutch. You could get the cheeky air fabs around. But more importantly, he needs to see what his opponent's done, what his opponent's doing, what his opponent's plans are, where his troops are moving. Does he see the fabricator going down the back? He hasn't yet, but he does see the bot factory. These fabbers coming in over here. Are we going to get a bomber to follow it up? I don't think we are. Equally, Admiral in the middle here got the Firefly Scout out there. Air fab coming out from Qzipco, though, going to be going to, I would imagine, the islands, but Admiral there placing a good Oh, he's not leaving it there. Okay, he's just moving it on. Moving it along for the interceptors there. It's gonna give this air fabric a little bit of longevity, perhaps. Both players, though, expanding round to the back to this 4 mechs, as you would expect. It's a pretty decent play there. Nice placement of docks, actually. It's gonna pick off that hummingbird. Cheeky pick. Not a big win, but, you know, it gets rid of the hummingbird, I suppose, and that's a good thing. But playing into the naval instead from Qzipco with the airfab. Not bothering for the islands because he knows that Admiral is going to be scouting those. Any good player does scout the islands on clutch. Similarly, Admiral also going airfabs. This is very interesting. Also gone for the vehicle factory. Qzipco, meanwhile, though, gone for double bots vehicle. So Admiral is a bot behind, but he has gone for metal storage. Now that's an interesting decision, considering he's combining that with reclaiming his commander. Though I think he's stopped reclaiming it now, unless I can't. Oh no, he's still reclaiming it. Look, that's really interesting. So going heavy P-gens and heavy reclaim is going to allow him to get so many more fabricators out early game, and he's going to be able to hard eco early game to the point that yeah, he'll have taken some comm damage. But he'll have that production and the eco for the next part of the game. And that's what's going to be necessary here. Oh, good nice faber pick there from Qzipco. Preventing the expansion from Admiral. It was nice to see the air game though. Airfab's coming out, getting the mechs. Again, I don't think there are any mechs here that are missing as a result of replay bugs. Naval factory is complete. It's not being used yet, though. Second one started. Could be doing something there. Looks like the T2 from Admiral. And yeah, this is what I mean. He can rush up T2 so very fast. Last time he learned his lesson that maybe bot T2 was not the way to go. Actually, look at that. He's rushing that up by reclaiming his commander, but he's not going into the red whatsoever. So he's gone hard power. And he's getting the T2 up. This is a novel strategy. You know, it's got to be said. Meanwhile, Qzipco is sort of sitting here on the back foot, trying to get into the naval, trying to play clutch traditionally. I suppose is what Qzipco's approach is: getting the plateaus in the middle, going for the naval, getting the back expand, getting all the power in the base. I mean, Qzipco's playing it traditionally rather than exploiting anything right now. There's the T2 vehicles. He's a little bit behind Admiral, who's already got his fabricator building. Does Qzipco scout it? No. Does Admiral scout Qzipco? No. So they don't see it. However, the big thingamadoodah at this point, of course, is to worry about perhaps how the naval game is going to develop, but more importantly, how the unit counts on land are going to change. Another nice faber pick there. The 2 mechs did manage to go up, and they will stay alive. Similarly on this side, so Qzipco getting some nice picks off on some fabers. They're going to have to stop reclaiming soon. They're down to about half health on each commander. In fact, below half health for Qzipco. This is... what is this? The second T2, they haven't even really engaged each other yet. I mean, Qzipco is just sort of being a nuisance to Admiral. He's not really engaging yet. Perhaps we'll see. Yeah, there's the T2. More T2, not more T2 fabbers, more T1 naval fabbers coming out. So that T2 is going to get up fast. Kaiju's going to come out inevitably. This is really novel strategies. Can you give us the time Admiral got up T2? Let me have a look. I think... well, it was probably about 5 minutes. Let's just go back 7:15. So yeah, his first faber came out at 6 minutes. Well, 4 minutes given the spawn time. Well, 5 minutes probably. But just damn, you know, it's not what you expect. And then the T2 naval pops up, the second T2 vehicle, and they're just going to get the T2 eco in their base now so that they can stop reclaiming and start repairing their commanders. It's going to take a while to get all the repairing done, but still, you know. These bots should be able to overcome the turret there. Unfortunately, they're not focusing it down, so they're just going for the mechs instead. Now the bomber can finish them up nicely. Down they go. Are they going to get the scout on the naval, though? That's the important thing. They don't get the scout on the naval. You go up around the top, we see there's nothing there. Qzipco pushing out his commander, interesting. Vehicles, good. Going to be substituting those in with the levelers thereafter as well. So notice how once they get the T2 out, and they get the T2 eco, they can stop reclaiming their comms. Although I've said that, it looks as though this commander is still getting reclaimed. Admiral, stop. Please. It's unnecessary. Going to the islands now for Admiral, that's what you can expect. Well, I mean, it's getting to that point now, though, where these players need to actually start engaging one another. They've left each other alone for too long. They're going to start worrying about what the other person's doing. Interesting choice to go for Sparks there. If they get close enough, they'll be able to deal with all the docks that Qzipco's throwing at Admiral. Moving up through the middle, though, Qzipco's going to meet a few levelers, and that's not going to be great for him to do that. Has he got any bombers to deal with it? Not really. He's got an airfab, but that's not going to do a huge amount. It's just going to sit sentry, really. But we're going to have the T2 coming out momentarily in terms of the naval. Fabricator coming out first. Hopefully Kaiju's thereafter, but with all these vehicle factories out in the front, he'll be able to really pop in Infernos and Ants into the mix there. And so he'll be really able to push up the mid with there's a good pushes once he gets the factory count up, because currently he's behind. So wait, did he let that die, or did he reclaim that? There is no good. I'm not sure I understand why he reclaimed that. Maybe he was running low on resources a little bit. I mean, he is really bad in terms of metal right now, so maybe that's the reason he was reclaiming that? Or maybe he just wanted to place it in a different location. I don't know. This is some really interesting play. Maybe they get just as much metal out of reclaiming it and then building it with more efficient fabrica. I don't know. This is some really curious play right now. I've not seen it before. Kaiju's coming out, though. Maybe he was doing that in order to get the T2 naval out, but the longer and longer he waits, the more of a presence Admiral has, and the more of a bunker he has. Now ready to push out with levelers and soon to be slammers and blue hawks, and Qzipco just doesn't have the unit counts to deal with this. So, you know, there's not. I mean, yes, he's got mines out the middle, around the sides rather, but there are skitters and combat fabs in here, so the mines aren't going to do anything. There's the scout from Admiral seeing, oh, that is a far inferior force, and yet decides to pull back. Why? Maybe he thinks he can get a better trade. Maybe he saw the pelter going up and is worried about it. Maybe it's time to factor in shellers. That's the word I was looking for. It's been so long since I've seen shellers used in PA proper, really. Kaiju's coming out, though. There's the big reveal. They're going to be able to start laying siege from the rear end. Although, you know, that's going to start being a bit of an issue. A distinct lack of air support, though, is not great. There's a whole bunch of hummingbirds sat idle over here. They could have been supporting this Kaiju. That's a nice waste of metal there. Nice win in terms of a kill there from Admiral. Getting back into the army tab, let's have a look at the factories there. Admiral's powering ahead on factories, equal unit counts, and is not stalling in terms of economy. So he's going to be able to be producing so much more right now. Yes, Qzipco may have T2 around the back, and T2 in awkward places, and is doing silly, you know, musical chairs with the reclaim, but Admiral knows he can push out now, and any damage he does to Qzipco will be lasting damage, because Admiral can replenish his forces and supplies, and Qzipco can't. That's all there is to it at this point. I mean, I suppose this is where the issue of not having shellers is, because they just can't get the angle. Oh, just about clipping. Yeah, no, they need the docks to be able to do that, or the Blue Hawks. Ah, nice play from the Blue Hawks. And there go the mines, you see. That's the thing with having skitters in your force, you can just get rid of those. Not a huge amount. I mean, Qzipco's just going to have to defend here. Maybe he wants to get the levelers behind the rest of the army. Currently they're sort of in the middle / the front, so he's going to lose some unnecessarily there. And the Sparks are going to be able to chew through all of the docks. That is some wonderful unit composition there from Admiral. It's the ideal Death Ball counter to the Death Ball. It's like, I suppose in a way it was just kind of an equal but more powerful Death Ball. So it's like Death Ball A versus Death Ball A.2 or something like that. But mixing in the Sparks instead of the docks secured that win there, and now there's just too many levelers for Qzipco to deal with. And because he doesn't have shellers, he can't use the terrain elevation advantage to take out the levelers securely. But what I said before as well is that he doesn't have the factory count to be able to really do anything about this, because Admiral now has a secondary push ready. I mean, yeah, Qzipco has T2 Naval, but it's not going to get anywhere. It's not going to get a commander snipe. And it's not going to secure his base from inevitable death. So it's just a case of watching and waiting for this base to disappear. Hi, Gangster Star. No, this isn't a tournament. This is just a few games that were submitted to me to cast. So if you follow my YouTube, you'll know I used to do a couple of riffraff series. These are those that we're getting back to. So riffraff being my name for the games that are being submitted to me by the general public, general community at large. But there we go. Kaiju's coming out from Admiral now. So yeah, the T2 Naval's been equated. T2 bots, T2 vehicles here around the back for Qzipco. Admiral really needs to press his advantage, and oh, this air game is a fantastic opportunity to get rid of all those levelers. Fantastic. Look at that. Down go the levelers. Keeping the unit count a bit. Look at that, 94 to 250. And I mean, I suppose that's the danger of having reclaimed your commanders so much early game, is that they're more vulnerable to bomber snipes later on. But you know, he's down to what, 20%, 18%, and he has to try and keep alive. I mean, yeah, you're getting up a Hulkins in the South Pond there, but it's not going to do a huge amount at the point when you're losing your base and a big army is on your doorstep. You know, it's not. It seems as though in this game Qzipco has made a few wrong choices with regards to how he's going to respond to Admiral. He didn't do enough scouting early game to be able to know what Admiral's production was. And as a result, Admiral's going to be able to power through Qzipco's base with absolutely nothing to stop him, really. The Blue Hawks are going to be able to deal with the terrain elevation, so Blue Hawks or Shellers are good for that. Down goes the T2, down goes the T2 power, and now Qzipco is going to be left high and dry, really. Yeah, there we go, the final power gen goes down and Qzipco immediately into the red. Immediately. And all of his power is in this nice sort of top hub here, and Admiral's just going to push into it. And all Qzipco can do is watch. I mean, Qzipco's now bringing out Locusts. It's just so why? What do Locusts hope to achieve? Locusts are not going to get a commander kill. They're not. They're not going to be able to go up against 300 units. They're just not. You need ideal counters to things rather than I'm just going to keep backing off and eventually I'll kill a factory, because that's not going to win you the game. So there you go. Not a huge amount else really to say about this game apart from watch it finish. Sheller's coming out from Qzipco at long last. Oops. Surprised we don't see the GGs really. Although I'm not sure in replays you actually see the chat. I don't think you do. I don't know, maybe Qzipco's raging at Admiral, I don't know. I mean, these two are probably just at this point experimenting with strategies for their next 2v2. Because typically in 2v2s they play together a lot. What is this? This is so very over. I mean, you got Leviathans, but so having a look at Admiral's base. Has he got any end-game strats? He's got some bombers. They're not going to be able to deal with the narwhals. Too many narwhals. Far too many narwhals. He needs drifters, maybe. I don't know. Is the commander poking out of the water? No, drifters aren't going to do it. Sometimes in shallow enough waters, drifters will be able to shoot at a comm. That's enough bombers to shut down a bit of Admiral's plans. Taking down a bit of T1, T2, but in come the hummingbirds, locking that down. I mean, this is the thing, I think it's a bit too little too late for Qzipco. I sincerely doubt he'll be able to pull this back. I mean, he's got a Hulkins. He could get a lucky comm snipe off there. We have seen previously that Hulkin snipes are possible, so, you know, you never know. You never know what's going to happen. Ho ho ho. Those shots from the Leviathans, though, that was brutal. Look at that. Kaplum. Yeah, Blue Hawk goes in and kills one boombot. Nice. I mean, Admiral needs to formulate different strategies now. He needs to start thinking about ways that he can actually get into this naval base. And I think he's realised that. I just saw a T2 bot factory going up. Yeah, here it is. And with that, he should be transitioning to slammers, perhaps? I mean, he'll be able to hop in there really quickly and deal with that comm. I mean, yeah, there are these torpedo launchers, but slammers just running in from this shoreline will be able to kill that commander in seconds. Currently, the warrior. Well, I suppose in come the bombers in the air. There's the narwhals! Oh, damn, get the locusts! Bombers survive. Takes down a few locusts. In come the kaijus, though, and this should be able to do a fair bit of damage. Down go the fabs. Not quite! There were no bombs left. And the commander survives again as well, 12%. Don't forget that you can build barnacles, which is the sort of naval combat fab, if you will. Build mines as well, but what is this? What is the point of this? Why put your production into this when you can go into, I don't know, orbital? Why not? That would be nice. See some orbital strats in this game, but, you know. Good use of combat fabs here, reclaiming all the dead stuff. I think Qzipco realised there's not a lot he can do. And he GG's, and down he goes. So that's one apiece, Qzipco to Admiral. Defense here, and all Orange need to do is push out here. I do see boombots mobilised. Will they try and push out the middle? There's a bit of scouting with the air, so they see that there's literally no defence here. In come the boombots. Surely, surely we'll see the boombots move out now. It has to happen. Here we go. Do they know where the commander is? They do. Are they going for the comm? They're going for the comm. If they get this comm, this could be really hazardous for black. It could set them back quite a way. Will the Uber cannon hit true? It does! It does! Oh, that was a beautiful Uber cannon. Defending again that commander. Black has just got an impenetrable defense right now. Previously it was orange, but now it's black. And oh my goodness, this is such a tug of war. It's great. Meanwhile though, orange again have their...